guys, it's Fadra from All Things Fadra, and I am here at, what's the name of this place? Maryland State Police Training Facility. Like I said earlier, it's where they do all the badass cop car driving. And we're here specifically with Ford today to learn more about the Ford Interceptor. They have a couple new models that they're coming out, including a Ford F-150, but I really want to get behind the wheel of the hybrid that they have. It's got incredible horsepower, it's got great torque, and all kinds of features built in that the average consumer would probably never in a million years think about needing in a vehicle. Once you see it, it makes sense and you understand why a police car is so different than a consumer vehicle.
We're here to introduce you to the first ever pursuit rated hybrid utility. What do our cars do 60% of the time? They idle, exactly right. And so I'm going to discuss that idle and how the hybrids are going to really help us out in law enforcement and why they're going to be good for us. The only thing these batteries are now doing in the new hybrids that you're going to drive is just start the engine. That's it. Everything else runs off the lithium-ion battery. So because we're going to have less idle times and electric power as well driving around town, we're going to have less fuel consumption, less CO2 emissions. Engine use is going to go down, and maintenance is also going to go down. Why is that? Well, we're not going to go through brakes as often either because we're using regenerative braking to slow the vehicle down, which is resistance in the electric motors. It's also going to recharge the battery at the same time. Since we don't have the high idle times, we can extend our oil changes as well. Now, are we going to lose any performance? The 3.7 versus the new hybrid that you're going to drive. All the vehicles that you're going to drive today have the new 10-speed automatic transmission. The horsepower has gone from 304, the normally aspirated 3.7, to a combined 318. So that's the gasoline engine as well as the electric motors combined to 318. Where does the electric motor shine? Here on torque, right? So we went from 279 up to 322 foot-pounds. And that torque is what gets you down the road. The electric motors have that instant power, right? It's not having to spool up like a gasoline engine. And so it makes it really nice off the line. You can see 0 to 60, we're faster about a half a second. Look at that, over 2 seconds faster to 100 miles an hour. And look at the combined. This is actual EPA ratings on the fuel economy now. So 17 miles per gallon in the old model to 24 miles per gallon. And with that stretched wheelbase, we've actually increased our payload as well. So it's gone up.
So let's take a look at some of the modifications, and then we're going to get behind the wheel. So as I mentioned, police vehicles have special needs, and this is one of them right here. If you can't tell what it is, I couldn't tell either. This is special support structure that they put in police vehicles because they are crash rated, rear collision rated to up to 75 miles per hour, which is why you need this extra support in here. We come over here and tell me if you have any thoughts what this is. Looks like a car door, right? This is actually a bulletproof insert that you put inside the car doors. From what I have heard, it actually makes it a very heavy door for obvious reasons. Then they have some of the inserts, some of the modifications that they've made for where your brake and gas pedal are going to be. It's actually mounted to the floor, the gas pedal, and then it has a place for your left foot over here. This is an example of the rear door. Now, this is not one that you would use for passenger transport for obvious reasons, but you can get this fully configured so there is nothing back here and you basically have a driving cell. Now, I mentioned they were talking about the Interceptor hybrid, and here we go right here. This is the battery. Look at how small that battery is, and as a result, because this has been designed from the ground up for this hybrid model, there's actually no loss of cargo space. In fact, it has more cargo space than the previous generation. And now it's drive time. We have the opportunity to get behind the wheel of 3 of the Ford Interceptors. One is the EcoBoost, one is the hybrid, and the other one is what they call a twin turbo. First thing is I get to ride as a passenger, which always makes me nervous because I don't trust anybody else's driving. We'll see how he does, and then I get behind the wheel.
Down, tight left. Open that wheel, give it a juice, go to the right. come on. That deer didn't jump out that quick.
Well, I saw you going.
Yep.
So I'll come back around to the right. By the way, you'd be surprised how quick they jump out.
Yes, they do. I've already hit 4.
Brake. Come down tight to the right again.
It'd be nice to get a couple practice laps in the. All right, tell me which way.
Your choice. Well, consider these practice laps for the hot rod.
Yes, I know. What's some sensitive
And into the
brakes?
left.
Come on, man. You know I was going to take another lap, right?
Alright guys, I just finished the course behind me. I actually drove 3 of the vehicles. So the first one is the standard EcoBoost, and it was okay. And then I drove the hybrid, which was awesome. It was much more responsive and the brakes weren't quite as touchy. And then, just for fun, I think they called it the twin turbo, and funny enough, if you guys remember when I did the Skip Barber Racing School, one of the racing instructors was the guy that I was driving with, and so we had a lot of fun. That was the car that kicked ass. They said that's really more for like highway patrol. That's the one where if you really need to get up on somebody, well, yeah, you can do it in that vehicle. So let's go take a quick look inside and see what kind of modifications these vehicles have. So we're going to take a look at the hybrid, some of the modifications they have. Like I showed you before, this has a ballistic panel in it, which makes the door much heavier, but you kind of want that if you're in this position. We go inside. Now every cop car is different because they allow for different modifications. I guess one of the improvements is they used to have a 9-inch distance between the seats. Now I think it's up to 11 inches, but this is where you would mount different things that you need, and as I mentioned, you can put a cage up here for passenger transport. It's kind of no frills back there, and you can also have the doors modified. Actually, I think these doors have been modified, so there's no handle there. There is no escaping that. So this just gives you a quick look. Up here is where you can also put different modifications. I think I'll take my fancy car over this. Well, what did you guys think? Plenty of flashing lights. Luckily, none of them were in pursuit of me. I held my own on the driving course, and I learned a lot about what goes into police cars and what police actually need in their vehicle. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, if I don't know the answer, I will try and get the answer for you. But I hope you like this glimpse into what Ford is doing, specifically with the Interceptor, specifically with the hybrid, and what they're doing in general for law enforcement. So thanks for joining me. Give me a like if you like. Leave me a comment if you have something to say about the video, but I would appreciate it if you go ahead and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, because I would love for you to come back for more adventures just like this. Thanks, and I'll see you next time, guys.